Hey everybody, it's Mark with 12 Tomatoes. We have St. Patrick's Day right around the corner, so I thought what we would do is try to make an amazing grilled sandwich using leftover slow-cooked corned beef. I have corned beef that's been slow cooking for 9 hours along with some cabbage and onions, and we're gonna put together an amazing grilled sandwich with it. I realized last night I wanted the corned beef to be really tender, so I got it started last night on low and slow rather than something. Your biggest mistake with corned beef is trying to cook it fast if you want it tender. So I'm going to show you what I did last night with it, and I have a feeling we're about to enter a flashback. So what I did first is I decided to use half a head of cabbage. Just in case I didn't like the results of the cabbage and onion in the slow cooker, I thought, worst case scenario, I grill the cabbage and onions instead. Now I used a mandolin to get the cabbage nice and shredded. You gotta be careful with these mandolins. These inanimate objects are out to cut off your fingers. And when you get too close to the blade, you're gonna wanna start using one of these things. Then you're going to take an onion. I chose sweet yellow onions, but whatever you prefer, and slice that onion up. Then take your slow cooker, put in all the cabbage and onions on the bottom. Then you're gonna add your package of corned beef. I like to add it with all the juices, all that flavor. Now here's my big secret, here's the experiment. I poured an entire pint of Guinness as part of my liquid, and then filled the rest up with water so that the corned beef is entirely covered. And the corned beef was sticking up a little bit, so I kind of buried it and nestled it down with the cabbage and onions a little more so that it's completely submerged. And then we're going to add our spice seasoning packet. Usually packets of corned beef come with these inside. If yours doesn't, you can buy pickling spices at the store. And now that the beef is all submerged, cover it and cook it low for 8 or 9 hours. Welcome back from our flashback. We're gonna check this out now. I haven't really explored the results yet. All right, let's take a look at what we got here. Look at that good stuff. Cabbage and onions and corned beef in a pool of meaty, beery beef broth. You see how tender that is? I'm gonna take that corned beef out and slice it up. It smells so homey, such a comfort food smell. Let's get some nice slices of the corned beef. Make sure you got a nice sharp knife, and we want to cut against the grain. So here's the grain right here, if you can see. So we're gonna cut against it. It's so tender, it's just falling apart, but that's not a problem. You know, I could just pull this apart, honestly. Oh man, let's have a taste. I can't help myself. It is divine. It's so good. It's so good. That Guinness does add an additional flavor layer. I recommend it. If you don't like beer, or you don't like Guinness or stout or whatever, it doesn't taste like beer. We're gonna work on some Irish mustard sauce. So we're gonna start off by doing cornstarch, sugar, ground mustard, salt. Mix that up in here. Add a cup of water. And we're gonna bring that to a boil. And we're gonna add butter, prepared horseradish sauce. I can't say that very well, so I'm trying to overpronounce. Prepared horseradish sauce. You try saying that quickly. And apple cider vinegar. And lastly, here I have 2 egg yolks. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of the hot mixture in with the egg yolks and mix it around. That'll temper it a little bit so it doesn't just immediately cook. Now I'm gonna add it. Now I'm going to cook again until the sauce is thickened to exactly what I want. I'm gonna do it low and slow. Out of 10 on here on my stovetop, I have it on 3. And we have our Irish mustard sauce. Okay, now we are going to make an au jus to dip the sandwich in. And instead of using beef stock or beef broth, we're actually gonna use some of those amazing leftover liquids from the crock pot. So we're gonna start off heating the pan, medium heat, half tablespoon of olive oil, Here's some shallots that I diced up nice and small. Shall it go in the au jus? Yes, it shall. You guys can hate me for that one. I can take it. You're just gonna cook these until they're softened. A few minutes, maybe 5. That doesn't seem like enough shallots. I did a tablespoon. Let's do another tablespoon, or whatever that was. Now we're gonna add some garlic. This is just a clove. Don't wanna let that burn, so just cook it for about a minute. All right, now we get to add the rest. More Guinness, how about that? Now, we're just gonna use about a cup. There we go. Cup of Guinness. There's a bunch left. Does anybody know there's this ball inside every Guinness? I've never known what that's for. If you guys know what the ball inside of cans of Guinness is for, let me know in the comments. It is illegal in my state to not finish the alcohol that you used to cook with, so I have no choice but to drink the rest of this. Okay, so we've got the Guinness. This is Worcestershire sauce. I can never say that well. This is Worcestershire sauce. We'll just say Worcester. It's Worcester. It's going in there. These are some beautiful pickling spices. A couple teaspoons. That's gonna go in there too. And lastly, we're gonna add some of the liquid from the slow cooker. We're gonna strain it just so that some of those bits aren't in there. Is that a 1/4 cup? It's about exactly a 1/4 cup, awesome. Some of that flavor from our crock pot. We're gonna simmer this for about 20 minutes while we prepare the rest of our sandwich. We are gonna make a toasted sandwich, or a grilled sandwich. I have some rye bread, and I'm going to slather both sides of it and grill both sides with some Kerrygold Irish butter. Ooh, look at that. What's amazing about Kerry butter is it's from grass-fed cows and it's salted butter. We're gonna grill both sides of it. A lot of people just do one side. The way to go is both. Look at the beautiful color of this bread. You can use any bread you want. I'm sure that my favorite bread is sourdough, and I'm sure the sandwich would be just as amazing with sourdough. We're trying to keep a theme here, huh? Even though it says, I got Black Russian rye bread. Let's pretend it says Black Irish. I think that looks great, huh? Check out our mustard sauce. It thickened up quite nicely. I think it's gonna spread really well. Sandwich assembly. Take some of that mustard sauce, slather that all over the bread, both sides. Give it a nice barrier. Okay, my beef. Let's get some nice thinner pieces. Actually, I didn't slice this too thin, they're kind of thick. Now I'm gonna use a slotted spoon to get some of the cabbage and onions. And honestly, there's a fair bit of some of the corned beef that kind of broke off. So it's a mixture of cabbage, onions, and corned beef. I'm gonna let it drain just so that my sandwich isn't too liquidy. And last step, I got some Kerrygold Dubliner cheese. I'm gonna top that on there. Let's get some nice slices of Dubliner cheese. This is a beautiful aged cheese. Check out this beautiful sandwich. This is a fantastic thing to do with your leftover corned beef after St. Patrick's Day. Coming up, check out my close-up shots of the sandwich and the au jus that's still simmering behind me, and we'll see you next time on 12 Tomatoes.
"12 Tomatoes."